Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the 20s Detox. I'm your host, Bianca, where we talk about all things that I am doing to detoxify my life. I started this to help other people in their 20s because I'm also in my 20s. The reason why I did that is because I feel like I can't help people who are like older than me. However, I've been getting like a lot of people in their 30s and 40s also message me saying like, this can relate to basically anyone, girl. So maybe it's just me detoxing. I'm in like an era of detoxing my life, and I'm just sharing the lessons with any of you that want to listen. Okay. And since I'm in my 20s detox. Sorry if I'm like really amped up today. I've had way too much caffeine. Still have some of it here. Should not have had 2 cups, but we're here anyway. This week's episode is going to be about how to get out of a rut, because I feel like I haven't been really honest with you guys. I've been in a little bit of a rut. Was Mercury in retrograde or something? Because I felt like the vibes were so off. I feel good now. I was going through some personal stuff, some regular 20-something struggles that we won't get into, but I really had to take good care of myself during that time. I want to differentiate being in a rut compared to a depression episode. They're different. I want to say and label them as different. Your words have so much power. So when you're feeling down, to immediately say like, I'm depressed, it will have a bigger impact on you than if you say, I'm just sad or I'm in a rut. So for right now, and also because I don't want to pull any clinical terms out there because depression is a clinical term, I will just be mentioning getting out of a rut, getting out of a time where you just kind of feel meh, yucky. You're kind of just going through the motions of everyday life. Nothing is really bringing you joy. You're losing the joy and love in the little things. I want to share with you things that have helped me, and they're really simple and they're really easy to understand. I want to just bring on a little quote, and it is by Sam Levinson. He says, "Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going." I love that because sometimes when we are in times of attachment towards something that we either loved or didn't love, it's hard for us to let go because it's really shifting your inner state. But what's so important, and what Sam Levinson here says, is the clock is still going, time is still going. And you can either try and hold on to what used to happen and then just like basically put your whole sense of perception and life on pause, or you can go with the clock, because by every second, every minute, every hour, there could be amazing new things coming your way. But the only way to actually see that and really appreciate that is to go with the clock and be in the present constantly, every second. But if you hold on to things, which sometimes can bring us into like a yucky rut state, then we're losing sense of the present. We're losing sense of the joy around us and the people around us. I want to first start and figure out, what is it? What does it look like in your life when you get into a rut? For me, when I get into a rut, I don't want to say bored, but I'm very apathetic. I'm losing joy in the little things. I'm not overly sad, and I'm not like really irritable, but I'm just like no longer feeling like my life is amazing. I'm just not happy with my life. That's how it feels like for me when I get into a rut. The reason why I want you to think about what does it look like when you get into a rut, because maybe that can be the same for you. Or it can be something else. It can be that you do get very irritable. Or it could be like you get sad right away. Or it could be like you found yourself detaching from some of the people, like you're going into hermit mode. Or you're the reverse and you find yourself needing a lot of people's attention right now because you're not able to fulfill it yourself. Whatever that may look for you, it's so important to catch it early, because what can happen is if you're not too careful, it can continuously go down a downward spiral to feelings of depression. Like the worst possible emotion is shame. Shame is at the bottom. Nothing can be lower than shame. And sometimes, if you're starting to get out of touch with yourself and your surroundings, you can keep going down a level and down a level and down a level until you reach shame. But the earlier you catch it, the higher you are in vibration and the easier it is to bounce back. But the lower you are, the more you have to do, the more time that it's going to take for you to bounce back to with a higher level. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It's just kind of assess how you feel and give or take how much time that you may need to come back to be yourself, to be your whole self. Talking about emotions and energy, I want you to be mindful of the music that you also consume. Okay, say that you're feeling unaligned, meaning that you are not in the higher vibration that you could be. And the highest vibration that you could be is enlightenment. The second highest is peace. Then it's joy. And then it's like love and happiness and all that stuff. Like it keeps going down. However, there is these different areas in the spectrum of emotional vibrations, whether or not it is contracted, meaning that you are limiting your sense of awareness, or you are expanding your sense of awareness. So, I mean, yes, enlightenment is the highest sense of expansion in your awareness, so meaning your highest vibration. But being lower at peace is not a negative thing. You're still in an expansive part of the spectrum. Since everything around you is energy, it's not like witchy stuff. It's like physics, man. It's physics. I learned this in like high school. Everything is energy. Everything around you. Even like this plant right here, that is energy. I am energy. You are energy. Music is energy. And our bodies like to stay in certain states of energy. So have you ever found yourself when you start to get in a rut, you like to sit in it? Or like that term misery loves company because they like to sit in it. Maybe during that time, you listen to sad music because you like to sit in it, or you like to watch sad movies because you like to sit in it. So you see what I mean? Like, we make the situation worse. It's like we're addicted to the feeling of being sad sometimes. The reason why I'm saying music specifically is because music, it has the ability to change your state so quickly. If you are kind of feeling off and unaligned and you throw in a sad song, which may resonate at either the frequency you're already feeling, which is like sad, yucky, or worse, shame and guilt in it. And then that brings you down to a lower vibration. It has the ability to do that. And unless you are very grounded and you are in that expansive vibration level and you're feeling grounded and aligned and protected with yourself, and you don't feel like your energy is kind of all over the place or your emotions are all over the place. Like for me, I'm a very empathetic, sensitive person. Okay, so I need to be mindful of whatever I consume energetically, whether I'm having conversations with people or when I'm listening in my music and all that, because it does have the ability to shift me into weird states. But if I focus on my meditation and my journaling and I ground myself every morning, then usually I'm able to have this protective barrier with myself to not absorb all this emotion, not absorb all of what this person is feeling. Not very empathetic and sensitive people will be like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Bianca. Like, what's happening? But yeah, like I need to do that. However, if I'm in a lower state, if I'm feeling sad that day or I'm feeling anxious, then the protective barrier that I have is not going to be as strong. And I'm going to be able to let certain vibrations come in and affect me even further. And I also want to mention quickly, because that's more of a spiritual, like, it is still physics, but going into neuroscience, there's something that's also called creating neuro-associations. You know how I said your words mean something and they're powerful? Okay, so since you were a kid, if you ever heard the word sad, does that make you happy? No, because you made a neuro-association quickly. Obviously, it's what the word means, that I feel sad when I say I'm sad in the word sad. Happy means you feel happy. But that's just not a knowing. Oh, yeah, that's what that word means. That's also a feeling. You've linked a feeling to that now. So when you say stuff like, I'm depressed, that is a deeper sense of sadness than I'm sad, or I'm feeling off, or I'm in a little bit of a rut. Those are not as strong as a sense of sadness or grief. So that's why it's important to use and be mindful of the words you use. Have you heard people that are dealing with a lot of anxiety and they just trick themselves into thinking that they're excited? Like before a presentation and they get the butterflies in their stomach and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do a presentation. You can either be like, I'm so anxious, I'm going to make a fool out of myself and start catastrophizing. You see, I use the word anxious. Or you can say, I'm just really excited to do this presentation and I really want to do well. And you say that, and your neuro-association, your brain is going to start to pause that anxiety feeling and it's going to be like, oh, I'm excited because they kind of have the similar feeling inside my body. Same thing happened with like your surroundings. When you step into your room, are you like amped and ready to work, or are you more relaxed and you want to lay down and you want to sleep? When you go into the kitchen, are you ready to read a book or are you ready to eat? When you go into the workout room, are you ready to paint or are you ready to like get some movement in? Because you've built neuro-associations to also your surroundings. Now, why does this mean anything about getting into a rut? Getting into a rut, usually you'll notice it a few days in. You'll notice it after you've been like, oh, I've been feeling a little odd lately. What I like to do when I start to feel like I'm getting into a rut is I switch things around. I live at home, so that means I'm usually in my room a lot. And that means that I will sleep here, sometimes work here, I'll read here, maybe do a little yoga down there. So these neuro-associations are not really distinct in my situation here. Now, if you live in a home where you have those sense of like dividing separate rooms and whatnot, then it won't be as difficult. But I want to ask you, where do you go the most when you feel like you're in a rut? Is it your room? Is it your living room? Is it your couch? So you can do two things now. You can, one, if possible, avoid going in that room for now. Go into a different room because we have to change our states. Remember, we like to sit in a state. Two, if you can, like me, I can't really avoid this room. And my bedroom is where I usually would go if I'm feeling like I'm in a rut. I will switch my room around. I'll change some things. I'll change the decorations. I'll change my plants around. I got so many plants in here. Sometimes this guy needs a little bit more light than where it was in before. But why have I changed it around? Because I'm going to trick my brain into thinking this is a new environment. So this will condition new emotions. I'm trying to help the people that don't know how to let go, who are the overanalyzers that sit in the rut and sit in the feelings and maybe stoop to old habits that really don't serve you. Of course, it's important to feel your emotions. And it's very, very natural to have a sense of lower vibration. But after you've done the reflection, after you've done the feeling, it's time to let go. It's time to move on. And if that's a part that you're really having a hard time with, those tips may help you with that. A little recap so far, because I know that this is a lot. The first thing I said, be mindful of the words you're using. Your words have power. Be mindful of the music that you consume. Because if you are at a lower vibration and you listen to music at that vibration or lower, it will keep you there. It will keep you at that yucky state. On the other hand, you can start listening to high vibrational music. I have a playlist on Spotify. Maybe I'll share it with you guys of a whole bunch of frequency music, high vibe music to keep me up there. I'll meditate with it. I'll go on walks with it. If I'm feeling sad, I'll listen to that stuff to help me go up in frequency. And three, make sure that you are changing your state by changing your surroundings up. Try and avoid the area that you always go to when you feel like you're in a rut. If it's your couch, just avoid it for the week, okay? If you can't do that, switch up the way that it looks. Maybe put new covers on your bed, new pillows. Maybe move some things around, put new posters up. And I want to give one final tip today. What is something that will help you romanticize your life more? Personally, I feel like when I get into a rut, I feel like I've lost the joy in everyday life. One thing that I really like to do is change up my routine. Change it up. If you change up your routine, you'll start to become more excited about your day. And routines are meant to change and they're meant to evolve. Remember the self-care episode of when I spoke about how to build yourself a really good self-care routine? The last step that I mentioned is to constantly check in with yourself if whether or not this routine is serving you right now. Because we're constantly changing, our interests change, our situations in life change. So what may align with us or what may serve us right now may not serve us in the future, might not have served us in the past. It doesn't mean that the habits are unhealthy, but it just means that right now they're not doing the same as what they used to. Like my meditation. I've been meditating for almost every day for over a year now. But the way that I meditate has changed many times. I'll kind of switch depending on how I'm feeling. Some days I need a guided meditation. I need a little bit of help. Some days I can meditate for 30 minutes. Some days I can meditate for 5. And other times I don't need any music. Sometimes I need high vibe music. Sometimes I do a breathing technique like the Wim Hof breathing technique. It changes. Now, if I forced myself to stick in the same routine, my morning routine of meditation, to do the same meditation every single day, I would probably stop doing it because I'm no longer getting the benefits of that meditation. In fact, I've lost this sense of what it means to meditate, to feel aligned, because I'm trying to put it in this box. And that's the same for your workout routines, your, nighttime routines, your self-care routine, your morning routine, whatever your routines are in life, your day-to-day, those may change because it's just not aligning with you in this moment. It's actually pulling you out of alignment because coming back to the first quote that I spoke about, you don't look at the clock. Do what the clock does. It's constantly moving. It's constantly changing. It needs updating. Okay? Of what is going to keep us going. So I hope that if you guys have been in a bit of a rut, well, I don't hope that you guys have been in a rut, but if you have and you've done all the things that you should do, you have felt it, you have been feeling it, you've journaled with it, you've reflected on it, you've done that. You figured out what has happened here, but you can't let go. You change your state by changing your surroundings, by changing the words, by changing the music that you're listening to. And that will allow you to bounce up a lot quicker because we're going to be in this cycle. Everything is cyclical where you're up and you're good and you're amazing. And then something triggers you. And then you may get into a rut and you may go down here. And you need to go down there to really purge whatever that old mindset was that you need to detox from. But once you've done that, you felt it, you've detoxed, you got to let go. Let it go. Go with the clock. Change your state. Change anything that's going on, and then you'll bounce back up again. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys. And I want you to remind yourself as an affirmation during this time, you are capable. I am capable of breaking free from this rut. I'm capable of creating positive change in my life. I'm capable of having an abundant mindset. I'm capable of moving forward. You don't need to be like this forever. I've really struggled with anxiety and depression my whole life. My whole life. And the issue that I felt is I clinged on to it too long. I've clinged on to the sadness. I've clinged on to the old memories. I've clinged on to things that have put me in these states. But I need to learn to let go. And if this can help me let go, then by all means, I'm going to change my state. I have removed so many old songs. It's kind of scary when I look at all the songs I used to listen to in high school and early university. Like, they were all sad, depressing songs, man. Like, no wonder I was depressed. Now I listen to classical music. I love it. But you know what? I've also been the happiest version of myself ever. But does it mean that I don't get into low states? Absolutely not. I was like in that 2 weeks ago. I'm human. But I'm getting up. I'm bouncing back. And that's what I want for you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I'll see you guys next week. I have no idea what the episode is going to be about. Let me know if this episode helped you in any way or you learned something new. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.